All right. Hello, 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 hello. Hello. Let me see this. Okay. It looks like, let me see something. All right. So it's my first time. I haven't been live on YouTube in like forever. But here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Hello, hello, hello. And happy Thursday. And so in this live, I'm going to be talking about Gemini energy and how you can use this energy to be more authentic in your communication. Okay. And so if you are new to me, to the channel, to any of my content in social media land, I am Kay Catrice. I am the Natal Chart Navigator. I am an intuitive energy reader and educator, and I teach open minded, ambitious, beautiful inside and out women how to rebuild their lives after loss, either divorce or physical loss, um, using their natal charts. Okay. And so we're talking about Gemini energy. We are in Gemini season. And so, happy birthday to all of the Geminis. I love Gemini energy. I am a Virgo Sun Venus. So Virgo, Gemini, both ruled by Mercury. My 11th house is Gemini. So I love Gemini energy. I absolutely love Gemini energy. And so I wanted to go live and I wanted to come on and I wanted to talk about how we can use Gemini energy, how we can use this season in order for us to be more authentic within our communications. Okay. I was like, oh, that just looked a mess. Okay. So, first off, if you are brand new to astrology and you're like, okay, what is she talking about? How we use Gemini energy and all of that there. Or, I mean, I'm sure you know Gemini energy. Everybody knows Geminis. Everybody love you. You either love Gemini energy or you hate it. It ain't no in between. You either love it or you hate it, right? And so, but if you are brand new to astrology, you can go on my channel and you can check out the it's the astrology. It's in the libraries, in the digital libraries. I have an astrology basics playlist, so you can go there and you can look and you can start really getting familiar with astrology, the houses, the natal chart, all of that. Okay, and so Gemini energy. Okay, Gemini energy is the first sign of the zodiac. Okay, it's the first sign of the zodiac, and the first air sign of the zodiac. And Gemini energy is ruled by Mercury, and it is all about communication. Okay, it is a mutable energy. Immutable energies, they are the energies that in the season. And so right now we are in spring, and moving once Gemini season is over, we will then officially be in summer, and that will be Cancer season. Okay, so the mutable energy is always in the season. Okay, and so Gemini energy, it is a very lively energy. Okay, it's a very lively, very communicative energy. Okay, it's chatty, curious, it's witty, cerebral, very cerebral. It's also flexible, very energetic. If you know anybody that is a Gemini, it seems like they are the energizer bunny. They just go and go and go and go and go, right? It is also, it can be very imaginative. If you've ever listened to a Gemini tell you a story, especially the men, I pay attention to how the energy play out within the sexes, and the men that I have come across that are Geminis are very more lively, very more energetic, very more playful than the women. The women are somewhat more a little responsible. Now these are just the Geminis that I've come across. Now you might be like, no, my cousin is Gemini and she real play da da da. And I'm not saying that that's not the truth, but just the Geminis that from what I've experienced in my interaction with Gemini energy, the men are a lot more lively and playful than the women can be. Okay. They are outspoken, well spoken. They're very, very social, outgoing. They're very knowledgeable. Okay. They also can be very gossipy. They can be sometimey. They can be what it is what like two faced. That's what I'm looking for. They be two faced. Um, they can be very emotionally, not emotionally, but lack empathy. They can be lack empathy, selfish, and so those are just there's the positive and there's also the negative because Gemini energy is duality. It represents the twins, and so there's the duality. It's the duality, right? And so if you already know a little bit about astrology or you're into medical astrology, then Gemini energy in medical astrology is the lungs, the arms, the legs, the two. Okay. Um, and so it's the Mercury is the planet of communication. Okay, and it also is of language and it also is of travel. It also is of the marketplace, okay, and commerce, okay. And so, if you know Gemini's would make very good salesmen. My ex-husband is a Gemini Sun in Mercury, and um, he is the chattiest person. He is so damn chatty. He can talk you. You can tell him no, and he'll talk to you. And by the time he's done, you're like yes, and then you're like wait a minute. After the interaction is over, you're like wait a minute. Did he just talk me into excellent? They can be excellent salesmen, right? And so when it comes to our communication, you want to always be authentic in who you are when you express yourself. Because one of the things that you don't want to do is come across somebody who is only in it for them, right? Somebody who, or you lack empathy or you lack any type of caring in your communication when you are speaking. Um, so on this channel, I talk about people who have been divorced or who have lost a spouse, who have lost a spouse either through divorce or actual death. Okay, um, on how to teaching them how to rebuild their lives after that, and using their natal charts. And so, communication is really big. It's really key in relationships. It's really key. Period because when you are communicating you have to communicate your feelings, you have to communicate your thoughts. If you're somebody who you just stay to yourself, you keep to yourself, you don't let people know, you don't let people in, you don't communicate how you feel, but then you're like nobody helps me. Well, if you don't, people aren't mind readers, right? The majority of people aren't mind readers. Not saying it doesn't exist because it does, but people don't know where, they don't know how to help you if you don't communicate that, right? And you also want to communicate in a way that is not like threatening, in a way that's not malicious, okay? Because your words have power. And I posted about this about a week or so ago on my Facebook page. I posted about how, if you use your words for harm, you will get that. And if you use them for love, you will get that. And so it's all in how you direct your words, the energy that you use behind your words. Okay. And because this energy, the time that we are in, is so social with Gemini, this is a good time to really work on being able to express ourselves authentically, to be really able to express ourselves in a way where people can understand us. Um, and we can have those conversations. We can have dialogue with people in a way that is uh, not threatening, in a way that is open and receptive. Okay, because another thing about Gemini energy is that it loves to learn, and so it is very open and receptive to communicating with others. Now, if they approach you and you are not receptive to them, they're not going to sit around and ask you why you're not receptive to them. They're just going to go on to the next person and start that conversation with them and see if they are receptive. And if they're receptive, then they'll have that conversation with them. I made a little joke. I said, if you listen to and engage, if you listen to a Gemini, you let them talk to you for about 5 minutes and you engage in their conversation, good luck in getting rid of them, right? Because Geminis love to be around people who will engage with them, who will be social with them, who will laugh at their jokes, who will, joke back with them. They're a very jokey type energy. They like people who will joke back, have that banter, have that conversation, back and forth with them. And if they're not getting that, and they just gonna move on to the next. They're not gonna sit around and wait and wonder, I wonder why they don't like me. I wonder why they won't talk to me. They mind them moved. They done moved on to something else, child. And more than likely, they've probably even forgotten about talking to you. In that moment because they gone. They gone. It ain't it's something totally different. They done moved on to something totally different, right? And so one a couple of ways, like I also posted, and while we are in Gemini season, so wherever you have Gemini in your chart, right, is where you are going to experience the the qualities of Gemini. Okay. So if you have Gemini in the third house is the house of communication. Okay. So it is communication, it's early education, siblings, neighborhood. Um, and so if you have Gemini in there, then your communication you're going to communicate like a Gemini. You're going to talk about something here and then you'll be off to the next thing and then off to the next thing. And you kind of just jump timelines, like you just jump between different conversations. Sometimes you'll start here and you'll come back and you'll just go like that. And, they like people who can keep up with them because their minds are so quick. They think the energy moves so quickly. And so, it is ruled by Mercury. And so, they need people that can keep up with them. If you can't keep up with a Gemini, you too slow and they're going to move on to the next. My ex says when we first got together, he used to tell me, oh my gosh, you think slow. No, I don't. I analyze. You don't. I analyze, you don't. You skim through, I analyze, right? And so, yeah, Gemini energy is that. So when it comes to being authentic, um, in your communication, you first of all have to learn, how do I communicate, right? And so when you're looking in your natal chart, you're going to look for your Mercury sign. Okay, see where Mercury is, because Mercury is the planet of communication. Okay, and then you're also going to look at the third house, the sign that is on the third house. So you have to look at, um say you have Mercury, your Mercury is in Cancer, right? So with your Mercury being, say your Mercury is in Cancer, and then say you have Gemini on the third house. Okay. Um, you have so your Mercury is in Cancer, and so you think, because when Mercury is in Cancer, its emotion, it's kind of moved by its emotion, and it thinks in pictures. Okay. um like it sees stuff and it remembers, like people who have their Mercury in Cancer are people who can like you tell them something 10 years ago, they remember that shit. You tell me something 10 years ago, I might not remember it. Right? But my Mercury's not in Cancer. So, they'll remember that. they'll remember it and they'll go back to it. Now, if they have their third house in Gemini, they're going to speak, the way they actually speak and communicate is going to be Gemini-like. Okay. So they might jump all over the place, or they may talk a little quickly. They might be somebody that talks quickly. Um, and so you have to look at where your Mercury is placed, and also like the sign that it's in and the house, but more so the sign that it is in, and then your third house, which would be communication, how you actually communicate those thoughts. Okay. Now, if you were to have your Mercury in the third house, then it would kind of work the same. Okay, so for example, my Mercury is in the third house in the sign of Libra. So Mercury likes to be in the third house. Okay, it's at home. It feels amazing in the third house. It works optimally in the third house. And so Mercury in Libra, and my third house is Libra. So I think in pros and cons, right? Because Mercury is the sign of balance, it's the scales, okay? And so I think in pros and cons, okay? And when I communicate in a way where it is like fair for all, because Libra is also about energy, it's about fairness and justice, okay? And so I communicate in a way to where it will be fair for all, to where it will be welcoming and inviting for all parties involved in the communication, okay? And so for me, if somebody were to, say we're having like a debate, and so how people be talking about stuff on social media, and everybody has rallied to one side, I would be the person that would want to bring up the other side of whatever the situation is and introduce that, because for me, that's how I think and also communicate. So it's like you can't just focus on that, and then the scales are tipped. And so you have to focus on the other side as well so that it's balanced. Okay. Now, if you had your Mercury, say, in Virgo, then you're going to you're going to be somebody who thinks like very analytically, very, very analytically. You're going to like pick shit apart. Like I pick things apart, but a person whose Mercury is in Virgo, and Mercury is exalted in Virgo. It loves being in Virgo. It also likes to be in Aquarius as well. Well, it likes to be in all the air signs, but it really likes to be in Virgo. It's exalted in Virgo, and it loves to be in the sign of Aquarius. Um, and so when you have your Mercury in Virgo, you're going to be somebody who's like analytical. You're going to think things through very rationally. Um, you're going to be a grounded thinker, and you're going to look at things for how can this benefit me? How can I use it practically, right? Does it make sense? One thing about Virgo energy, if it does not make sense, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. And that's Virgo energy, period. As a Virgo Sun Venus, if it does not make sense to me at all, like if I can't make any kind of sense out of it, I'm not doing it. I'll just tell you, you do it, and I'll see your results. And if it worked out for you, then I consider doing it, right? Like, because if I just can't make any sense out of it, I'm just not gonna do it. That just don't make no sense to me, so I'm not gonna do it, right? And so, one thing you want to look to see where your Mercury is, and you also want to look at your communication style. Now, on my TikTok, I posted a video, and let me pull it out real quick because I'm going to put it here in the chat. TikTok. And if you are on TikTok, come give me a follow. I am Kay Catrice. I am on TikTok. I'm the Natal Chart Navigator. And so yeah, come give me a follow. I love me some TikToks. I will put. Let me see here. I've been doing the Chiron series, and I did the one on Chiron in Gemini. And so, if you have your Chiron in Gemini, if you don't know what Chiron is the wounded healer, and it is the wound that we are born with, that we are to heal and transcend this lifetime. And so, I will put the link to that TikTok here. My computer has like been moving slow the last few days. Come on, come on. Okay, come on, people. Let me see here. Is this it? No. Okay. Oh, it's coming. Yeah, here we go. And this one was a like pretty popular one. People really resonated with this one. So yeah. I'm gonna finish the series. I started with Taurus. Um, because we are in Taurus season, and especially with Jupiter being in Taurus, um, I was like, let's talk about that, because if you have your Chiron in um, Taurus, um, then this is going to be affecting you. And so this transit is going to be helping to really heal that wound. Um, and in the comments of that video, someone requested that I do do it for all the rest. And so I was like, yeah, why not? Okay, that's taking a little minute. So I just want to sit there and let it do what it do. Okay, so yeah, back to what we're talking about. Okay, so um, communication. In order to communicate effectively, you're gonna have to figure out what's your communication style. Okay, and so to do that, you want to look at your Mercury placement, and then you also want to look at your third house placement. So if you have your Mercury in a water sign, you may be somebody who you probably are great at imagining. Um, Both of my daughters have water Mercuries, and they are like, especially the younger one, man, she's like my little imagination coach. And like you're great at imagining. Okay. If you have your third house in water, then you are somebody who communicates um, through your emotions. You're more of an emotional person, and your communication, your emotions really guide. I won't say dictate, but it does guide your communication, how you communicate. Okay. Now, if you have your Mercury in fire, you are a very quick thinker. You are all about action. You may be impulsive. And if you have your third house in fire, you are very blunt. You are very direct in how you speak. And it's not that you're looking to hurt anybody's feelings, but you're just like, this is what it is. I'm going to just say what I got to say. If it hurt your feelings, I mean, that's what it is, right? Now, if you are somebody who has your Mercury in Earth, you are a very practical thinker. You think very practically, how can I use this information in my 3D reality? Okay. You're not somebody that's into airy fairy thoughts. You're into concrete. How is this going to how can I use this? How is this useful? Right. And then if your third house is in Earth, then you are somebody who you are very grounded. You speak um, when um, you speak in a way that is very um, practical. It's easy to understand, and you are very grounded. You're very grounded in your speech. People who are kind of like monotone, and they're like, yes, this is how you can do it. Guarantee you that the third house is in Earth. Okay. Um, it may take you it may take you more time to process things if your third house or your Mercury is in Earth, just because you're very especially if it's in Taurus, you're a very methodical person, and you want things done right, and you don't want to, like, you're not somebody that wants to just keep doing things over and over and over again. Okay. Now, if you have your Mercury in air, you're very cerebral. You may actually even live in your head. Um, Mercury in Virgo can do that too, by the way. But you may actually live in your head. You may be in your head, but you're a pretty quick thinker. And you are social. You are very social. And then if your third house is in air, then you are somebody who's very social. People probably know you. You're probably pretty popular. Um, you are quick witted, quick thinking, um, but you also can be um, a little detached as well, especially if it's Aquarius energy on the third house or an Aquarius Mercury. You can be pretty detached. Okay. And so once you learn your communication style, um, there's shadow energy to each, right? So there's the um, the light qualities, and then there's the more heavier, darker qualities of each sign, right? And so to become authentic in your communication, you're gonna want to learn the light qualities and also the dark qualities of the sign. And so, like I said, in Gemini, they're very social. They're very, they're knowledgeable. They share their knowledge. They're witty. They're funny, but they can also be lack empathy. They can also be gossipy, um, and they can be two faced, right? And so you have the lighter qualities and the darker qualities, and so you want to lean more towards your lighter qualities, um, you know, in order to be more authentic in your communications. Now, when you lean towards if you do your darker qualities, I mean that is you, because that's the shadow of the energy. But if you're looking to build up your relationships, if you're looking to make your relationships better, you want to acknowledge what shadow qualities you have in your communication, and then you want to work on those. Okay. Build up the positive qualities you have in your communication, and then you want to work on moving away from those shadow qualities into your more lighter qualities. Okay. Now, and it's not that you're ignoring your shadow qualities, but if you are somebody who likes to gossip about others, then you want to move away from that if you're looking to build up strong, authentic communications. Now, if you relationships, communication in your relationships. Now, if you cool with how you communicate, and if you cool with being gossipy and two faced, um, continue to do you, right? But if not, you definitely want to move away from that, and work more into your lighter qualities. Okay. And so that is the live for today. I'm gonna get back into our the lectures and all of that. I've been like really going through some revamping of the channel. Not so much the channel, but revamping of the content and how I want to deliver the content. So I kind of just stopped for a minute because trying to get it all together. I am a Virgo Sun and Venus, so even though I know perfection does not exist, I'm still working on that. That is one of my shadow qualities that I am working on not being perfect or not wanting to achieve perfection, but just wanting to achieve delivering quality content, um, even if it's not perfect. Okay, so I put the link here for the Chiron and Gemini um, TikTok. You can go check that out if you have Chiron and Gemini. Um, you can check that one out, and if you don't, just go check it out. I'm doing all of them. They'll be up on my TikTok, and so you can go and you can check them out there. Okay. And so next week we're gonna get back into lecture. I'm also gonna get into homework. I'm working on worksheets so that I can have for you guys. Now, all worksheets, all of that type of stuff will be all of that will be in the student community. Okay, I have a thread for where you can go and get all your worksheets and stuff for your homeworks and stuff like that. Just have worksheets as resources for you to have, and so that'll be in the student community. If you want to join the student community, it is if you purchase you can join one or two ways. You can purchase a energy audit with me, or you can book an energy audit with me, and then you'll get a 21-day trial for free to the community. After that, it'll be $22 to be a part of the community a month, and then or you can just go. If you can join the community, and it'll be $22 a month. Okay. So it's really up to you. Either way, you can either get it for free by getting a free trial by booking a reading, or you can just join the community for $22 a month. Okay. And so I just want you to remember possibilities are endless. If you can see it in your mind, then you can definitely hold it in your hand. And that should make you smile because you really do create your own reality. If you want, the links are in the description if you want to book a reading. Okay? Have a great one.